still be vigilant. They told us last year that it could mutate. And if it mutated into a different DNA type virus, that it's going to be a whole problem to kind of wrap your head around another mutation of it.
Kimmi Scott has always been the calm one on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. She's known for staying collected, choosing her words carefully, and never letting drama pull her out of character. But this season, viewers saw something completely different. In the latest trailer, Kimmi showed up with a look in her eyes that said she wasn't backing down. This wasn't one of those small, passing arguments. This was personal. This was Kimmi snapping, and fans, who've watched her stay calm for so long, were completely stunned. So, what caused Kimmi to finally break her silence? What pushed her to the edge, ready to call someone out in front of everyone? Well, the drama centers around Nell Fletcher. When Nell first joined the circle, things between her and Kimmi actually seemed fine. In fact, Kimmi welcomed her with open arms. She was kind, respectful, and made sure Nell felt included in a group that already had a lot of strong personalities.
So the interview, very aware of it. We'll be addressing the interview. Have receipts, because a lot of lies were told, and I had to ask myself, am I going to go on here and say something? Should I say something? Should I reply? Or should I just not do anything and, just let them have it?
At the time, it looked like a healthy new friendship. But behind the scenes, something else was bubbling. According to rumors, Nell allegedly said something about Kimmi's husband, Maurice Scott. It wasn't captured on camera, but word got around. And if there's one thing people know about Kimmi, it's this: when it comes to her marriage, she draws a clear line. Especially now, after everything she's been through with her health, her patience for disrespect is pretty much gone. Whatever Nell said, it struck a nerve. Kimmi felt blindsided. She didn't just feel disrespected, she felt hurt. She'd given Nell the benefit of the doubt, embraced her when others might have been standoffish. And now, that kindness was being thrown right back at her. Nell tried to explain herself later, saying her words were misunderstood. She claimed she didn't mean it the way it sounded. But by that point, the damage was done. Their tension finally came to the surface during a group event. What started as a regular conversation quickly turned heated. Kimmi didn't yell, at least not at first, but her tone
owes my family an apology. More so because a lot of times he'll have this perspective of it was a joke or I was trying to be funny, and it did not land at all.
Firm, direct, and not here for games. She wanted answers, and she wasn't going to let things slide. Nell stood her ground too, insisting that her intentions weren't malicious. But Kimmi wasn't interested in explanations anymore. She'd heard enough. Letitia tried to step in, hoping to calm things down. But instead of diffusing the situation, her attempt to mediate made things worse. To Nell, it felt like Letitia was choosing sides, and that only made her more defensive. What was supposed to be a simple group discussion turned into a full-blown confrontation. Voices were raised. Faces were tense. Arms were crossed. It was no longer just awkward, it was explosive. Producers had to step in before things got even more out of hand. But here's the thing, that wasn't even the worst of it.
As far as opening eyes, it probably opened Maurice's eyes more than my eyes, to be fair.
To really understand where this all started, we have to rewind a bit. The issues between Kimmi and Nell didn't begin at that group meetup, or even at the infamous pool party. No, this feud was simmering for a while. When Nell joined the show, she and Kimmi actually clicked. Kimmi didn't feel threatened by her. If anything, she respected her confidence. She even gave her room to adjust to the dynamics of a cast filled with outspoken personalities. Things looked solid at first. There was respect and a sense of understanding. But while Kimmi leads with quiet strength, Nell is more outspoken. She says what she thinks, sometimes without considering how it might land. And in a group where gossip spreads fast and words are easily twisted, that's a recipe for problems. The first sign of trouble? It wasn't even between Kimmi and Nell. Directly, it came through their husbands, Maurice Scott and Chris Fletcher.
It's a lot. Like, you plan your days and you can't stress out on the things that you don't get accomplished for that day. Like, you just have to figure out what's important. We're working it and we're gonna figure it out. I talk to my family a lot, me and my kids, and we plan out things around the household. We give tasks to everybody, so we have to work together as a unit.
Rumors started to spread that Nell had made comments about Maurice. It was all off camera, but the whispers were loud enough to get to Kimmi. And that's when everything changed. Kimmi has always been protective of her family. But after fighting cancer, she's even more guarded. Her focus now is on her healing, her marriage, and her peace. So when she heard that Nell might have been talking about her husband, that early friendliness vanished. Nell claimed later that people were twisting her words. She insisted it was never meant to come off as shady. But Kimmi didn't buy it. She felt betrayed. And for someone who had gone out of her way to welcome Nell, that hurt even more. Things finally exploded during another group event. Emotions were already running high. Kimmi confronted Nell directly. She didn't scream, but she didn't sugarcoat anything either. She came prepared, determined to get the truth. She asked direct questions. She wasn't interested in excuses or watered-down answers. Nell didn't back down. She stood by her side of the story. She said what she said, and she wasn't going to apologize for something she didn't mean to offend. Letitia tried again to step in, but at that point, it only made things worse. Nell felt cornered. She believed Letitia was siding with Kimmi, not trying to be neutral. Body language told the whole story. People were stiff, uncomfortable. No one was smiling anymore. And then, things nearly got physical. It didn't get there, but it came close. Security and producers had to step in again. This wasn't just another cast argument. It felt like something much deeper was unraveling. Then came the pool party. Everything looked relaxed on the outside. Music, drinks, laughter, but under the surface, that tension was still boiling. Everyone could feel it. And then Nell made a comment. It wasn't loud, and it wasn't obvious. But Kimmi caught it, and she was done playing nice. She turned to Nell and said, "What you're not gonna do is speak to my husband again." The tone? Ice cold. The message? Clear as day. Nell didn't take it lying down. She fired back, accusing Kimmi of trying to control the situation, of twisting the story in her favor. She even went so far as to say Kimmi was using her personal struggles as a shield. That hit hard, and it pushed things to the edge. This wasn't just a fight over gossip anymore. It was turning into something much bigger. Kimmi wasn't just reacting out of anger. She was defending the life she'd fought so hard to protect her healing, her marriage, and her peace. In her confessional, Kimmi summed it up with a quiet, cutting line. "I don't have time for fake friends." That hit differently. It wasn't dramatic. It was real. And it showed just how tired she really was. For fans who followed Kimmi for years, this version of her felt brand new. Not because she changed, but because she finally stopped holding it all in. She's always been the calm voice in the chaos, the one who tried to make peace. But now, she's exhausted. She's done explaining herself. She's done tolerating people who stir the pot and then play innocent. This fight with Nell wasn't just about drama. It represented everything Kimmi was no longer willing to tolerate. She's gone through too much to keep quiet now. But Nell wasn't done either. In her own confessional, she accused Kimmi of hiding behind her good girl image. She said Kimmi was playing the victim to dodge accountability. She argued that just because Kimmi had been on the show longer didn't mean she could silence everyone else. According to Nell, Kimmi was using loyalty and respect as a way to shut people down. Some fans agreed with Nell. They felt like she was finally saying what others were too scared to. Others thought she crossed a major line. Social media was on fire. Twitter lit up with reactions. One fan tweeted, "Kimmi finally snapped, and I was here for every second of it." Another wrote, Nell messed with the wrong one. Kimmi's been through too much to deal with this mess. Instagram told a more divided story. Some felt Kimmi should have taken the high road. Others argued that Nell kept provoking her and deserved the pushback. One comment summed it up best. You can't keep pushing someone who's already been pushed to their limit. This wasn't just a messy cast fight. It was deeper. It was emotional. And it left fans torn. Was Kimmi justified? Was Nell being honest? Or were both of them letting pride get in the way? Then came another twist, Letitia and Miss Wanda. Letitia has always tried to be there for Kimmi. She means well, but her loyalty was obvious this time, and Nell picked up on it immediately. What was supposed to be neutral support ended up making Nell feel even more isolated. From Nell's point of view, she wasn't just clashing with Kimmi anymore. She was being boxed out of the group, and the energy shifted fast. Other cast members stopped showing up to events, didn't comment on the drama, or kept their distance. Group dinners felt cold. Conversations became cautious. Everyone was walking on eggshells. People who used to laugh together now barely made eye contact. And those who didn't take a side? They looked like traitors. The drama was no longer between two women. It was spreading like wildfire across the entire group. And that's the real cost of this feud. It's not just about shady comments or harsh words. It's about trust, boundaries, and real-life pain being pulled into the spotlight. Kimmi's fight isn't just for her image. It's for her peace. And Nell's response isn't just about defending herself, it's about being heard. So now the question is, who was right? Who went too far? Or did both women let their emotions cloud their judgment?